sidewalk there?
Why don't you just have it sync to the preview player? No? Oh, it's
So,
bright.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That door opens
I hope
bright.
the audio is
So we can
picking
kind of
up.
chill real quick right now.
Yeah.
We might be live. We're not live. So we're going to kind of hang out here for a second, let the
Right.
stream kind of catch up and do its thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a minute or so for it to finally kind of catch up.
If you're having problems, text or call me
Yeah.
or Preston.
in the
can't
laser
tell.
beam of light here.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're just going to give this a couple seconds just
Yeah.
to make sure the stream is
Yeah.
caught up. So everybody sit tight if you're out there in internet land. We're going to get started here in just a second.
Would you want to put the other screen on so we can see if people are commenting?
We could do that.
Because I don't want to.
I don't know where I would see that at, though. There's comments there. So, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, if you're watching, hopefully there's at least somebody. Let us know.
One or
how
two of you out
we're-
there. I'm hoping my mom is watching. You know, she supports about everything I do. And
That's good.
all right.
Maybe my mom's watching. I doubt it. Maybe.
All right, so I think we're good to go here. So welcome one and all to Mermaid Juice's 3-year anniversary live broadcast. I'm Preston from the Beer Chasers.
I am Mike from At the Bar Podcast, and we're collaborating again.
We're doing another collaboration. The last time was a little hectic. Our audio was a little hot. I think we fixed that issue.
Yeah.
So here we are at Mermaid Juice in Mount Dora, Florida, who was just announced as the #1 rated beer bar in Florida.
Yeah, we did a couple of research, and we found out that this place, a little small place here in Mount Dora, was rated by I think it's Cool Material, and Cool Material as the #1 craft beer bar in Florida.
And that's
quite the accomplishment.
It is, and that is in part to our friend and owner, Dano Nero. We'll welcome him to the show. Please come on down, sit on down. Join us here, grab a microphone.
There you go, sir.
Dano, congratulations, my friend. 3 years.
Thank you, Preston.
You're so
very
tall all of a
much.
sudden.
Yeah,
we got you in there. Let me make sure you're in frame, man. You're a big dude. Let me see how this is looking. You're good.
Yeah.
You're set.
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations. I mean,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mike and I were talking about this, and being 3 years in and being the #1 beer bar in Florida, I mean, you're beating out the World of Beers, the red lights. I mean, in 3 short years, it's awesome, man. And congratulations.
Thank you.
We love you very much. You know, we've been up here quite a bit and got nothing but love for you. And definitely want to say congratulations. We want to make this about you tonight, you know, celebrate your successes. Tell us kind of where you got started with beer. Let's go way back past 3 years ago before you opened the bar. Even further back from that, kind of how did you get involved in beer? Your love for beer.
I was bartending when I was 18 in Nashville, going through college.
Make sure your mic is on. I just
It's-
want to
it's
double
on.
check, man. All
It's
right.
on.
Sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Hello, test.
No more technical difficulties.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Just relax. Just
Relax.
Be comfortable.
Put them down.
Put them down.
Put them on your face. You put them on my lap here. No. You do need a beer. I can help you with that. Go with your story, and we'll start with that.
Basically, I was bartending Nashville. I was 18 in college, trying to get out of the restaurant business. I've been doing that for a while when I was younger, and so nearing my 21st birthday, started drinking a lot of Guinness, and that was about the best thing I could find, and I was craving other things. So we used to make Bloody Mary mix, 2-day process, all from scratch. So I started mixing that. Everyone made fun of me, but nothing in the South was really available.
Everyone make fun of me.
Yeah, well, yeah, you should see me drink the clamatas, but you know, I'm.
Gotta start somewhere.
The issue was a brewery opened up downtown Nashville, and I met these guys that opened it, and they invited me to come. We were selling their beer at one of the bars I was bartending, and they gave me an IPA. I mean, this was 1991, 92, and that's where the light bulb went. That's what because we all would stand there 10 years ago, and this was further than that, but you stand at the aisle at the grocery store, and you're just waiting for something to pop out, and there was nothing new. Now you go and you see the 90-minute. I mean, it's
There's 400 IPAs. There's no way you could ever sift through them all.
it's a great selection in grocery stores now. I mean, there's little bitty mom and pop gas stations now that you can find great beers.
Really great stuff.
So back then wasn't there. Well, I worked at this brewery. That's where the light bulb went off. Worked there, volunteered, and they didn't make it. Unfortunately, people thought $4 for a 7% IPA was too much, and It just wasn't on yet.
And this is good in good economic times too.
Yeah, it was. Everything was good. So moved to Florida after I finished college, and long story short, started working at a winery, and the wine people. I was making chocolate, vanilla, cinnamon, sunflower wines, and they were like, "This isn't wine."
Yeah, you don't typically see that in wine.
Yeah,
Wine is just like grapes, yeast.
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, "Why?" Because they were drinking it, and it was good, and I didn't understand. And their answer was, "Because that's just what it is.
It's wine, yeah.
It's wine. It's the
Yeah.
yeast, the grape. That's it."
Mm-hmm.
So this guy from Oregon, who was the winemaker that had just moved in, he said, "Dude, you make beer this way, you're going to be a rock star." So I started homebrewing and kind of went all grain.
Back then, how difficult was all grain brewing? Because I know now there's plenty of options, but I can't imagine, 20 years ago that you had like a shop down the street. Like, how difficult was that then compared to now?
Well, this I kind of jumped a little bit. This was like early 2000. You had some homebrew places, but the internet wasn't there. You couldn't just go on and talk to people and do recipes and all that. So we were tasting beers and figuring out, okay, it would take years to nail a beer. The all grain from the winery, we were doing, I don't even remember, 100,000 cases a year. Now they're doing crazy amounts. But I left when they were putting 25,000 gallon tanks in. At that time, I was doing 12,000 gallon tanks times 20. So for me to take syrup or extract and boil it, I was like, dude, I'm beyond this because of my wine production knowledge. So I built the kettles, which are over here. And
this is where you kind of got Mermaid Juice as a name, correct?
Yeah.
With something on your kettles.
Yep, they got the orbital grind, and someone came and like, "Oh, dude, look at the scales, man. Love the Mermaid." So that became the name of the, like the brew kettles, and then Mermaid Juice came along somewhere after that.
I hate to keep butting in. Yeah, what you got anything, Mike? I keep butting in here.
Oh no. I mean, like Preston kind of led on to, you've had this place over for 3 years. And
Right.
To me, Florida, in my opinion, is a top 5 state for craft beer.
We're growing.
And I don't think we get the credit either.
It's arguable, but in my opinion, I think Florida is in the top 5.
I think we're the largest market,
we're growing too.
market share right now.
Right.
I think the word is out.
Yeah.
The big boys know that.
Oh yeah.
It's changed.
With the rumors of Cigar City possibly being bought by Anheuser-Busch.
Sure.
Blah blah blah. So with that, you're right. I lost my train of thought here. But like, what were your kind of going into opening? Did you want to open a bar?
Early 2000s is when we made our first couple batches all grain, and I think our first one was Charlie Papazian, Papazon, however you want to say it. It was the goat scrotum ale, and not only that's the crazy. It's at the end of his recipes, and it's the craziest one. But we just went crazier, and
Right.
and his reading was like, just throw your heart into it. We did like 3 pounds. I think it was a 5 or 10. That was a 10-gallon batch. 3 pounds of fresh ginger and just everything we could find.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a couple months later, we tried them, started brewing our second batch, and it's like, dude, this isn't good. Like,
Right.
It sucks. It needed time.
Yeah.
So as we just kept brewing and we started doing some softer stuff, we were like, oh, okay. So my buddy goes, dude, this is what you were born and meant to do. You got to open a brewery. And with all the legal, and I checked into it, and it's
not cheap. You can't just go
No.
down there and apply for a license and start cranking beer out.
It's doable. And I mean, people have, they've gambled and they put their house up, and I'm there. I just, and I've had investors. I just haven't had the right investors. So long story short, a year later, we're opening those beers, and I would put them up against any Imperial Stout that people trade bait right now for.
Right.
They were incredible. So that's kind of where where I just realized, yeah, this is what. So building this, I worked at Abbey in 06 because that was one of the few places.
That's a bar in DeLand. Pretty
Yep.
good craft beer bar for those who might not be in the area.
Back in the
know where
day,
it's at.
they were 2 years before Red Light, and
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, that little place actually in 09 or 2010 they got 16th best beer bar on Rate Beer in the country. So that was pretty huge. We did backflips when all that happened. So I bartended, and I just kept brewing, and I'd bring stuff in and go to festivals and taste it out, and just, my beers kept getting better. So I lived here in Lake County, right down the road from Mermaid Juice, and I for 5 years, kept driving, sometimes 6-7 days a week. And long story short, I was a partner there, and it was a really hard decision to, because I was well loved. I had a pretty good loyal base.
Up at the Abbey.
Yeah, I mean, DeLand is a great place, and they're blowing up right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love DeLand.
Persimmon Hollow, and there's a ton of craft beer everywhere there. So the secret's out. So I came back and told my wife, found this building, and it was a gamble. So we opened it up 3 years ago. 2 days after I got my 2 COP, my son was born. And I've raised him here. So
I remember the days where he was running around in the playpen. I mean, he was up here,
Yeah, I remember
in the antique shop.
He was in a rocker, and I would just prop his bottle up and with his towel and get him going with the little, so I could run in the other room and serve people. And now he's like trying to greet people, and you want a beer, and he's only 3. It's awesome.
So you talk about the starting here, 3 years ago. What did your tap list look like then? Was it mostly bottled? Did you have kegs? I know you're big into, like you alluded to, is that you're good at kind of knowing, hey, this beer would probably be good in 2 years. And every time we come here, I think that's one of the great things about the place. You're going to get some beer that you would never expect to be aged, and it's amazing. And you always have these kind of surprise taps. Every time you come in, it's something different. So what did the tap list look like a year ago compared to like where you're at today?
When I first opened, it was, I believe, a Friday, and I had Dogfish Saison du Buff on draft. No one knew I was open, so I pretty much sat here and drank alone.
Good thing and a bad thing.
No, that was not a bad thing. I wish I had aged that keg.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had about, I think, 5 drafts and probably 40 different bottles. And it just grew from there. Yeah, we started out. The whole idea of this place was to get the brewery going, because I've got a 1.5 barrel system that we were going to put in Abbey, and then when I pulled out.
Were you planning on doing it here in house at Mermaid Juice?
Yeah, I wanted to do it in DeLand, and then once I, picked this place, I was going to build it here, and it's just the build out, the licensing. So it's sitting up in DeLand, and the idea of this was to be successful, save money, be able to open a brewery. And if you've been in this business, this is a labor of love. We're successful, but it takes a lot for this overhead and everything else. So
I know we talked probably my first time here, I think, for the Sitting with Santa 2013. You'd mentioned, that your bread and butter was the bar. Are we still seeing success in the bar? How's the antique kind of store doing? And
the antiques are bread and butter. They're fun to look at, but they're probably like 5 to 10%.
So people are coming in for the beer.
Yeah, it's all about the beer. The beer is what pays the bills. And you had 20-plus antique stores 15 years ago in Mount Dora. Now everything's online, or all those people that had those brick-and-mortar stores like this, they're at the flea market. So that's kind of why we did the collaboration with the antiques and the beer. Was we knew we weren't going to get rich off the antiques, nor pay our bills, but why not have them here and do that passion. Yeah.
So to go along with kind of what we mentioned earlier about the success of Mermaid Juice. Coolmaterial.com named you the best craft beer bar in Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Huge honor.
I did a little research. Rate Beer, as of this morning, has you as a 5-star world class.
Wow.
Bar.
Wow.
I believe the rating was like a 92, 93.
Okay.
So you're in the 90s, and Beer Advocate has you at a 98.
Wow.
How does that make you feel?
Wow, that's huge. I don't, it's hard.
As best you can.
Yeah, that's a round of applause. Anybody who's out here, we'll hear it,
Yeah.
A one-handed round of applause. We gotta have an audience here.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm humble, and being humble, it's hard for me to talk about.
Yeah.
It's the people that come in, and that was the question: was could I match the same success I had in DeLand with all the people with the larger demographic, and come to Mount Dora and get the same support and love? And the answer is yes. I threw my heart out there, and Mount Dora showed up and hugged. And people come from all over. There's people traveling from DeLand, from Tallahassee, from Gainesville. They come here. It's not just me. It's the people that are passionate about people and craft beer.
And we talked about that. I mean, Mount Dora, Florida, of all places. Like, you would think it'd be Tampa or Clearwater or St. Pete or Miami,
or Orlando,
Jacksonville or something. But Mount Dora, Florida, #1 rated
craft beer bar in Florida.
Yeah, I think there's something kind of like back in the day when no one even knew where DeLand was or the craft beer. Like, they got the honorable mention, and one of the guy that gave him that 16th best beer bar was saying, well, it's in the middle of Cowtown. I mean, like, this place, 200 bottles, and most of them you can't find anywhere.
And that's what we're up to now, is 200 bottles. So you said you started at about 50.
Yeah, we're about 170 rotating, 22 drafts and 170 total beers in here. We got a KBS case that we're doing on premise only today. So Hop Slam keg. We got a lot of awesome stuff. I've got stuff in the back that I've been aging.
Yeah, we are live, so come on out if you're seeing this. Please come out here, support Dano. Great people, great folks, great beer, great everything. We got a potluck going on. There's food, entertainment,
live music,
beer.
Yep.
Good, friendly staff.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. And I think me and Mike have talked about it. I want to ask you, what do you think it is you're doing differently? How are you getting the 98s and the 92s? I said, I know you're humble, but if you had to pinpoint on anything, what do you think you're doing different than everybody else?
I think I've been doing this so long that I care about people, and they care back. It's genuine.
Yeah.
We're not just opening this to sell beer and get rich. I've been doing this a long time. I don't know. That's yeah.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, and Mike, you said almost the exact same thing when we talked about it.
Right. I think when watching you kind of talk to people walking, you wave, you greet them personally. You're not like the kind of owner that is in the office just counting numbers, doing this. You're very social. Like, when people come up to you, like even when we walked in today, you shook our hand.
Yeah.
Hey, how you
I
guys
got a hug.
doing?
I got hugs.
There's a personal greet, but a couple of people walked by, and you not only shook their hand, but you put your left hand on top of theirs, and that's something I've never seen before. So maybe that kind of personal connection makes people feel like home. And plus, I think how Mermaid Juice is kind of laid out, you don't think you're at a bar.
Yeah.
You think you're home.
Yeah. Well, that's huge.
And I think in Little Mount Dora, I think that's what makes people kind of come back, because your staff here has come by here 20,000 times. Hey, guys,
Yeah.
And you don't get that.
No matter how busy it is, everybody's always super attentive, super friendly. My wife was saying earlier that you've never seen these bartenders here upset that it's busy. Sometimes you get in a bar and they're upset. Oh, it's so busy. Like, I'll get to you. Like, never once have ever come in here and have ever given an attitude. Yeah. Never gotten like top-notch stellar, service. And really, that's a credit to some of your guys too, because you're hiring great guys, and I think they're supporting you, and you have the right people in here, the right folks, the right beer. Awesome, man.
And it's the right time too. I mean, craft beer. I just kind of got lucky picking this. If I put this here 10 years ago, I would have been like that place I told you about in Nashville that came and went.
The
demand
a lot of places
wasn't
are
there.
doing that. If you don't have that uniqueness, you're gonna fizzle out eventually. You gotta bring something different to the table, and I think here at Mermaid you should do that.
Well, I don't want to keep you all night. I know you got a business to run. You got some stuff to do. We got a present for you tonight. We brought you in some Firestone Parabola 2015. So we're gonna crack this right now.
Yeah, let's do
you guys can kind of chat real quick amongst yourselves. I'll get this poured for us.
Going a little off basis. What do you think of craft beer now? Do you think, as a brewer, as a bar owner, do you think the craft beer bubble has kind of popped with the saturation of craft breweries, or do you think it's still in its infancy, or what's your view on that?
That's a good guess. That's kind of like guessing how long a beer's going to age. You can taste it and go, and a lot of that came from the wine industry, and I got into the wine industry because the beers weren't down here in the South, and I really didn't want to move to the areas where it was. So I learned how to taste really good wines and learned from sommeliers where it was like, okay, this is going to need 10 years. So I just carried that over into beers, and it's worked. So to be able to see the industry, and I'm guessing we're still growing. I think there is going to be a bubble. The strong are going to survive. The passionate are going to survive. The people that have a lot of money to keep it going, they're going to survive. So when I don't think there's we've hit that yet, but it's coming.
It's coming,
we've had, what are we up to? 145 breweries in Florida.
Growing every month.
Yeah,
every month.
Yeah, I think there's more room. But yeah, how many giant breweries, and
Yeah. I mean, in Sanford, there's Wops Hops.
right.
But they're opening 2 more, literally a block away from Wops Hops.
Yeah. And see, Sanford's similar to us to where it's a smaller demographic.
Right.
And you have some tourism, but that's not, it's your locals that keep you alive. So can they do it with 3 breweries? We'll see. Probably so.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm proud of Florida,
Yeah.
and I want everyone to succeed. Am I really the best craft beer bar in Florida? There's a lot of really good bars.
People out here are saying yes.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Yeah.
Howard. Yes,
Head
yes, we are.
shaking, yeah.
Well, congratulations, Dano.
Thank
I
you.
can cheers you on this Parabola 2015.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Cheers. Thank
And
you.
here's to another successful year.
The Mermaid juice.
Hey, and that's good. That's really good.
That's nice.
I would like to thank both of y'all. Preston came out when no one really knew who we were out
I want
here.
to thank you because in my infancy of my show, you were one of the first people who reached out to me. Usually I say, hey, I'd like to come out. You actually messaged me saying, hey, I really dig your show. I'd love for you to come out and check out my place. And again, it goes back to what we were just saying about how hospitable you are. And that's what drew me in. It's like, wow, this guy's actually reaching out to me. We'll definitely come out here. And once we did the event, it's like, this is very unique and somewhere I want to support.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So thank you, Dano.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
Sure.
y'all carry on.
All right,
I'm gonna
man.
get
Thank you
back
very
to
much.
business. Thank
Dano
you for the
Nero,
beer.
Mermaid
Thank you very
Juice. If
much.
you guys are watching live, please come on out. It's going to be a good time tonight. Got a couple bands. Lots of stuff going on. So awesome, man.
Good interview.
Love me some Dano.
This is a good parabola.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to go through it? Will, come on in here, man. Get on in here.
We're gonna
We got beer chaser Will.
The beard, Will.
The man, the myth, the beard.
As Dano's
Will.
trying to get through the crowd here.
Yeah.
Room full of people.
Right on, man.
I think
We
I
got enough
shut
room
your
there.
mic
We're
off.
tight, but let me make sure. I'm going to see how we're looking here on the stream still.
Sounds good.
We're still good, man.
Hello,
We got,
Internet.
We got some good stuff
The man,
going.
the myth, the beard. His richness.
His richness. That's really rich. You guys are going to see that here probably in a couple weeks. We
Make
filmed
sure-
a quadruple tasting today.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions you want us to cover, man, just drop them in the comments.
Yeah, we can
'Cause
see
we
comments.
can
I see
the
none.
comments.
You know,
There's none, but we can
we
see
do
them.
have live views, so there's a
Yeah.
success there. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank
But,
you.
So y'all know Will, Beer Chaser Will here.
Hello, everybody.
So we got our parabola here. Let's go ahead and do this in typical Beer Chaser fashion. Let's go ahead and do a
Absolutely.
review while we got it.
Absolutely.
Take a look at the
So,
appearance.
let's do
It is dark.
It's black.
It's very black. It's what you would expect an imperial kind of stout to be.
Right.
Now, I don't think it's a Russian imperial. It's just an imperial stout.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, it's
So-
the 2015 vintage for the people who were wondering. But it's black, light brown, beige head.
Good bit ahead. What do you think on the appearance, gentlemen?
Absolutely great
It's
color.
great. Yeah, great. I would give it a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Amazing color. It looks like a delicious stout. It just looks creamy just with the head on it. It's
Yeah.
just like,
It does.
It's just calling me to drink it.
Well, let's get there. What do you give it? What do you want to rate it?
5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Let's go for the
Alright.
smell.
Smells rich.
You smell richness. You smell a little bit of the, I think it's the whiskey.
Oh, yeah. Smell a little bit of the barrel that it was
Yeah.
aged in.
I'm not getting much more than the barrel smell. I mean, there is a little bit of kind of, I want to say cocoa, but it's not like hitting you over the head.
I'm picking more like a plum, a dried fruit, kind of like what we had earlier.
Yeah.
Not as distinct as the Westie, but it's kind of like a backing character.
Right?
But other than that, it's very whiskey, but not boozy.
Yeah.
It's not very often you get to compare another beer to a Westie.
Westie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky
it's
us.
just the day we've had today, so
Yeah.
It's
We
been
we
amazing.
started the day with a quadruple blind taste test of 7 quadruples.
Yeah,
And,
and
then we
West
had
O'Carroll
quad.
12
Then we
was
had
one of them.
Quadzilla, aka Frankenquad.
Frankenquad.
So we're well to go. All right, we're getting off topic here. Smell, gentlemen. What do you want to rate the smell?
Look, I'm not disappointed, but I was expecting more.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna deduct a couple points. I'd give it a 4.
Will?
I agree with a 4. I think I'm not getting as much of the fruity notes, but it's definitely got a bourbon barrel aged smell to it,
Yeah.
and that to me is just fantastic. I love bourbon barrel aged stuff. I know some people don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's just it's so good, and this whole beer, amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right. Did you give it a number?
I don't think I did, but I give it a 5.
A 5? I thought you said
Perfect.
4.
Perfect.
It's whatever. Doesn't
whatever,
matter.
man.
It's whatever.
Well done.
It's
Is it
above.
woo? Is it woo?
Is it woo?
This beer is woo. That's what you wanted me to do, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna give the smell a 3. I mean, I think it's where you think it should be, but it's nothing spectacular. I would expect some of the cocoa. I would expect some of the malts or some of the coffee, but I don't know. 3. Well, the taste, we've already kind of tasted it. Cheers.
Cheers. Good deal.
Smooth. Thick-bodied, smooth.
Yeah, it's real thick.
A little boozy.
It's boozy, and you get a lot of whiskey. And again, I'm not getting a lot of cocoa. I'm not really getting a lot of the stout.
You get a slight whiskey burn, kind of in the aftertaste.
But please, we've got some distractions going on over here. I've smelled the microphone too.
Does it smell like Dano beard? Does it smell like
what's it a beer chaser without some bloopers? Yeah.
Yeah. It smells like man beard.
Yeah, totally.
So on the taste,
middle seat.
I'm a little disappointed, but what I do like is the whiskey flavor that here is actually a great balance. Like, I usually don't like the whiskey aged, whiskey cast, rum cast stuff because usually it's
too heavy.
Too much. Like I love rum and I love whiskey, just generally not my beer. Right. But this is like a great balance.
Right. Yeah, I really it's a good balance. I was hoping for a little more on the flavor, but I think this would be very well aging. Of course, you can age most Firestones, but I think the prize in this beer would be more of an aged. Not so fresh, but it's still a pretty solid beer fresh.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I really want to say a 4.5, but after listening to what you said, I want to give it a 4.
Okay, Will?
I think 4.5. I mean, I would drink this. Like you said. I mean, I should probably hold my microphone up to my mouth, shouldn't I? Like what you said. I mean, if it were aged, it would be absolutely fantastic. I mean, it would mellow out a little bit, but I mean, the booziness of it isn't like right up front. It's not killing me. So I definitely like it. I think a 4.5.
All right. So I'm kind of conflicted because I do love the balance of this. I think it's probably one of the more well-balanced whiskey kind of stouts that I've had. But I wish there was some more chocolate. I wish there was some more stoutness to it. I'm going to say 3.5. I think if it had some of those other things, I would rate it way higher. But because I'm kind of rating it, it's a stout that's aged in whiskey barrels. I'm kind of only getting the whiskey barrel. So it's still good. It's better than average. But I think it has a lot more room to be better.
I think with aging, I think you'll get much more of a flavor out of it.
Okay.
At least it's just my opinion.
Mouthfeel. What do we think?
Good. It's what you expect from a stout.
Yeah.
Medium body, medium maybe
approaching
thicker,
thick, yeah.
Approaching thick, depending on the person. What you would expect. Nothing. It doesn't shine.
Yeah.
Probably 3.5.
What do you think?
Well, I drank a nitro earlier, and it's not nearly as creamy as that, obviously, but it's definitely got some cream to it, and to me, I really like it a lot. I think a 4.
Okay. I'll go 3.5. Again, just above that.
Right.
Terribly crazy.
Right.
So, overall, where do we rate the 2015 Parabola?
Fresh, not aged.
Correct.
3.75.
I'd give it a 4, man. I like it a lot, more than you guys.
Isn't at 375 for us? I think we're all on point.
On the same page. Yeah.
Delicious beer. I mean, it's great.
Great. It's gonna get you messed up.
Oof, it's boozy.
Today's been a rough day.
It's been rough.
So
you call it rough. I think it's fantastic.
Parabola 2015.
These
beers are rich.
It's rich.
I'm checking the stream one more time. Just make sure we're still up and
got
good. Everything's great. We got no comments.
Come on.
Give us something. Type something just to let us know you're out there watching. It'll make us feel better.
Hello, world.
It's Dano again. He's coming out with the KBS. Holy Jesus. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to it. I promise. Thank you. Very good stuff. You're the man.
Have you had that yet? No, I want to open it.
Well, I got the Sunday to it because Sunday morning is supposed to be the KBS killer from what I hear. So
Maybe
we'll get to that when we finish these. How about that?
Like he just gave this to us?
He gave it to us. Oh, I hope he's not.
Can we just age this?
Surprise.
We have to drink that on premise.
Bottle.
That's the rule here.
If he gives it to you, you got to drink it. Yeah.
Okay.
So cool. So that was Parabola.
All right, so we got one more.
Right there. We're half an hour in. We got at least we got an hour to go. So while I got Will here, I did want to talk to you about your adventures in homebrewing.
Oh yeah.
So Will is a brand new all grain brewer.
Fucking rookie.
Fucking rookie, man. Language.
They should be 21 or older if they're listening.
They should be. Watch it.
Better be. Ask your mom.
You can watch it with the volume down, and it's better. Yeah. So I want to talk to you about that. You know, we've kind of gone through this, and it's a big investment. You bought a lot. You did a lot of reading and kind of being fresh off only your second batch. Give me some of your thoughts on kind of what you thought about all grain brewing, kind of what was more difficult than you thought it was going to be, kind of what was something you fretted over and it was kind of like a lot easier than you thought it was, for people who might not be into it yet.
I remember back when I knew nothing about all grain brewing. I had done a few extract brews with Mr. Beer, but it was all real small scale stuff, and the steps were bad. I mean, you had a little bit of a boil, but you didn't need the investment like you do when you go all grain, and it's kind of a risk. But I mean, having you there to help me out, and also to kind of like I had known from other people at work that do all grain brewing. Hey, read this book, read that book. I mean, I went it up.
John Palmer's How to Brew.
John Palmer's How to Brew, yeah, great book. And I had read pretty much all the chapters leading up to the moment when it's just extraneous information, like all the how to brew stuff. I read all the way through that. I think I had like maybe 4 pages of that stuff, but it was irrelevant stuff I didn't really need, you know.
So on that point, being a new brewer, reading all through that, but then having a brew friend like myself to teach you, do you felt you learned from that book, or could somebody do it with somebody who's got a good homebrew friend to show them? Was it worth you reading the book, or?
It was. The book didn't really go over like all the things you need, you know, some stuff. It mentions like Werflock tablets and stuff like that, but you know, in sections that you know you may have already passed over, and I read it slowly, so you know you may not always remember everything, but you know you get to all the stuff. I mean, having a friend to show you what to do is really helpful, but if you don't have it, I mean, there's so much information out there. The internet is super helpful. I mean, I Googled a lot of stuff.
Right? Because I mean, as you've probably seen,
yeah,
you'll find an article that tells you one thing, and you can find 10 articles that tell you the other thing.
Yeah, difference of opinion. You know, you got to kind of take everything on the internet with a grain of salt, figure out what's true, what's not, what you want to follow, what you think is the right thing to do. And you know, we did it your way the first time.
Damn right we
did. I saw difference of opinions on different things, and we discussed it.
Yeah.
And I just told I'm going to do it your way. I want to see what you do, you know, when you brew, because clearly I'm the novice here. You know, you teach me what your way, and then I'll go and make my own thing. Like, things from what I saw you do that I like, adjust it if I need to. And, you know, my first brew came out, the OG was a little small or a little lower.
Yep.
And one of the things I learned was just, you know, lauter slow, you know, a quart a minute, so they say. I mean, I tried to match that. I didn't really measure. Went real slow, a little more than a trickle. And I think in the end it turned out good, man. My brown ale, the second one, I think was more the way it should have been. And that was one of the things that I learned the most. And take your you know, if you forget your readings after the boil, that was the one thing. As soon as I got it chilled, I was like, all right, let's get ready, let's go. Put it in the fermenter.
Yeah, so you took your pre-gravity, but you never took the post-boil, so now we'll never know what the ABV is.
We'll never know.
Reading, so.
But you could taste it. I mean, you know,
there's alcohol. I
just
can
look to
there's
the
alcohol
center.
in it.
So look to the center.
Yeah. So some of that advice on the lautering. A shout out to Matt Gillespie. I finally got your last name right.
Gillespie or Gillespie?
It's Gillespie.
Gillespie.
Maybe it's Gillespie. Damn it, I thought I had it.
Matt, you know who you are.
Yeah, Matt G. Matt G. Mosquito County Brewing. But
Okay.
he, you know, I've been having problems with my my gravity readings, you know, where I wasn't getting the efficiency out of it that I should. So It sounds like some of the advice you've been able to apply, and it's worked out for you. So awesome. What was one of the things you fretted over most that you found to be the easiest? Like something you're like, oh my God, this sounds so complicated. Like, oh, that makes sense. Easy.
It wasn't really just one thing. It was the whole process. You know, it's so scientific, and you know, there's just so much equipment, and it's timing based. You know? You can't screw up the timings and stuff like that. So it was kind of a big hurdle at first. You thought like maybe I can't. It's kind of, you know, I'm gonna forget stuff. There's a lot to remember. So in that sense, it's hard. But in reality, though, like after you do it a few times, it seems like it's all pretty much muscle memory and your brain muscle memory, obviously.
Right.
But you know, you gotta just get your timings right. Cell phone that has a timer on it, so that helps me remember. And you know, you need to watch your boil. You know, you don't want it to boil over. But other than that, it's all pretty much do a couple steps, put it together, wait, come back, do a few things, wait.
Right.
And, you know, no big deal.
So if you had to give any advice to kind of some people out there who might be on the fence, like, what would you tell the people who are kind of out there worried, oh, it seems very complicated, like, I don't think I could do that, like, what would you tell them?
I would say start out and see if you can get you'll get a good feel for it. And if you end up liking that, know that if you go the more complex route, It's more money. It may be a little bit more time investment.
It's a lot more.
It's a lot more money. It's a lot more time, but in the product of it is so much better. I mean, you can set your flavors. You can kind of make your own recipes, buy your own ingredients, put it all together from pretty much scratch. You got some equipment. You got some material. You know, your malts, and you put them all together and
I'll add on to Will. Sorry,
I was just gonna say there's nothing wrong with extract brewing.
Yeah, and I will add to what Will said. Don't rush into it. Save the money, get the right equipment, so you'll be happy with it. Because beer brewing is a never-ending journey of buying equipment. So you might as well get the right equipment first. You can start with an extract kit, but you want to get you into all grain. Like I've seen guys who've gone out and bought the extract kits where it's like, well, dude, your pot's way too small now. Your burner do a 5 or 10 gallon batch because you're doing it on the stove now. Yeah, you can kind of get some extract beer going, but you'll never be able to make. So it's a delicate balance. You don't want to go spend $400 or $500 on extract. I started with Mr. Beer, but just like you, Mr. Beer, and I stopped brewing for like a good year or two because you had a couple different cans of stuff you could use, like liquid extract, but it never produced anything that tasted unique. It all almost tasted like the same beer every time.
Well, I mean, that's the downfall of the Mr. Beer or Mr. whatever it's called is that it's very plain and it's made to get intricate flavoring either. I think it's just kind of like diapers for beer brewers.
Well, they do advertise it, though, that there's these different kits. IPA, there's this kind of brown ale, there's Belgian Abbeys.
Right,
and
but I'm sure they're at their base, like, plain, bland.
Yeah. It actually turned me off until, Beer Chaser John, who did the episodes with us, showed me how easy all grain was. All it is. I mean, it's a lot of equipment, but the process is way simpler. You're heating up some sugar water, you're cooling it, you're putting some and 6 to 8 weeks later, you got some fucking delicious beer.
And sometimes you don't want to trust the yeast packet that's cap because
never.
That thing might be super old. Like if the cap's dusty, you probably just want to throw away the yeast and just buy your own.
We had
stuff.
Last night at Will's house. He'd found his very first Mr. Beer he brewed and his first cider he brewed with Mr. Beer. It was old.
It was so bad.
It tastes like nail polish.
Yeah,
it was awful.
I learned what you don't want to put in your beer. And I remember how it tasted 4 or 5 years ago, and even then it was more drinkable, but it was still plain. But now it was still alcohol, and it smelled like paint thinner, I think is what I
it really was.
It last night.
The cider was the cider was like if you'd taken a bottle of nail remover and added a hint of apple juice. It was
it was bad.
It was not like Mike approvable cider at all.
Good.
It wasn't even close.
And glad I enjoyed it.
We only pulled it out because I knew that I wanted to reuse the bottles, so I figured I would open up a few of them, try them out, and know
Will.
that I'm pouring them out.
Garbage.
I drank them though, didn't I? I finished them.
Why? You get sick from that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
Nah.
He's fine today. I think he might be all right.
You really can't. You really can't.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of beer. Like, it can be funky looking. It's crazy. Like, you're never – I'll say not never. Obviously, there's a crazy fluke weirdness. But as long as you're not putting Ebola in there when you brew it, like, you're not going to get – it might taste like shit. It might not be what you want.
Yeah.
But you will rarely get beer. You might get the runs. Okay. Maybe you consider the runs sick.
Ebola Imperial Stout? Anybody?
The Ebola Imperial Stout. So good, you'll get the Ebola.
And the runs.
Awesome, man. Well, I mean, you got anything in close as far as home brewing?
Yeah.
I mean, you're more than welcome to stick around.
I can't wait to do a third brew, maybe in a few weeks. It's going to be amazing, and I could really see how, my base brews I've done could be improved over time. So I'm definitely looking to add some more things and learn some more stuff. I got to do a yeast starter yet. I got to do some secondary.
Awesome.
I think that'll be the way to go.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And the Hefe we made was great. The brown ale was awesome. Only going to get better from there. You're going to make a lot of mistakes.
I've already did.
I've maybe done like 15 all grain brews, and I've had maybe one like perfect beer day. Like every other time, something even when we did our Hefe, we had the issue with the couplings on the wort chiller or whatever. We didn't have the right ones, we didn't have the right ones, and we made. You're gonna have those happen. You're gonna dump something. You're gonna forget something. Learn from your mistakes. Just keep having fun. That's the most important thing.
That's what beer brewing is just to have fun and enjoy the end result.
Don't take it so serious. There's definitely numbers and there's definitely chemistry to it, but at the end of the day, you should be having fun.
Yeah.
And if you have an awesome wife to help you through it, then you're set, man. So it's the way to go.
Oh, Crystal. Aww.
What beer are you brewing next?
What?
Will?
Good question. I started out with a Hefe. I went into a brown ale. I think I'm going darker, so maybe either a porter or a stout.
Porters.
Maybe a stout. I don't know.
Stout or porter. That's the
Yeah.
next beer.
Yay for wives.
for wives. One.
All right, we'll make that happen.
One
This is
day.
now turned into the
Ladies.
dating game with Mike.
Yeah.
Please give me a call at 555. Get Mike hooked up. There's no comment. Somebody comment out here, please. Anyway, just
You guys are
say
killing us.
fuck you or something. You know, like you suck.
It's legendary.
It is. Let's see this thing. Pull your hair out of the way.
I mean, your hair is legendary too, but
Oh, sexy sax man.
Your mouth sax is a little lacking, I gotta say.
Cheers. Go ahead.
yeah.
Let's hear your mouth sax. See,
No,
look at it. You can't be
I
talking all
can
that
play
shit.
a real sax. Not
I bet
really,
you can.
no.
No, you're more of a skin flute guy. No, he's a fucking awesome guitar player.
Burn City.
All right, we got 5 minutes,
Fuck
so we
you,
get
don't
Anne Marie.
compliment me.
Lord,
We're having Anne Marie
podcast
on?
got violent real quick.
Sweet.
We are.
Cool. Oh.
What?
How
Okay.
can she bring her dog?
Yeah, she'll bring her
Absolutely.
dog. Yeah,
I follow her on Instagram, and her dog's the most cutest thing.
it's
I think
it's
everybody
Louis.
would love to
see
Her,
me,
her dog's
but-
name is Louis Pasteur.
yeah.
The
Which
guy
is aptly named.
Or is it Louis?
Louis. It could be Louis.
Louis?
It's
American French?
Now, for those out there, Louis Pasteur's known doing his thing for milk, but little do most people know it's actually made for beer. The whole process was to get beer and wine pasteurized first. It just so happens that applies to milk.
You just blew my mind.
Sorry.
I wasn't expecting that.
Sorry. It's
All
true.
about we're all about pastoring right now.
All of a sudden, yeah. But Louis Pasteur.
Wow.
Now you
Very
know.
cool. Thankful of knowledge.
Or I could be pulling shit out my ass, you know.
I think the internet would love to see the cute dog.
Yes, we might get a comment from.
Speaking of internet, let me see.
So we're
wanna check
we're
the
gonna
stream.
check
Hello,
the
people.
stream.
Make sure we're still good.
We're getting up.
Oh, we're
close.
bad. It
We're
says bad. Oh, we're bad.
Primary reason why.
I don't know. Something. That's still good.
Well,
we're
I
good.
mean, we all look adorable, so it's okay.
All right. Well, we are adorable. Now we're just filling. This is awful.
I'm a what?
We're not going.
We're not going there.
So, Mike, this is kind of more
Maybe
your
off.
realm.
What?
The podcast. So,
Yeah.
so let's podcast here.
So, what do you want to dwell into, man? What do you want to dive into?
I threw it
Well
to you to
done.
kind of go into back at me.
Well, I'm gonna
Now
throw-
we have Anne Marie,
Oh my
thank you.
gosh, we have
Well, we got
All right.
Will. You've been replaced.
Signing off.
Bye, Will.
All right. All right, we want to come around this way, Anne Marie, if we could. All right. I promise
We're-
our audio levels are much better this time. We got Anne Marie and Louis. Is Louis right?
It is Louis. This
Awesome.
is Louis Pasteur.
Louis, how you doing?
Here's your microphone.
Oh,
He's,
licking.
he's
he
more likely to
adorable?
make
That's okay.
noise into
They're
it.
mics, they're not mine. Anne Marie, how are
Or
you
Mike's
today?
mics.
I'm fantastic.
I know it's been a very long day. I appreciate you chatting with us for a little bit here. So last time we talked, I said the podcast was a little kind of blown out, and it's something I wanted to touch back on again was kind of the BJCP kind of stuff. So
Okay.
you
Oh,
are
damn.
a BJCP certified Cicerone.
I'm a certified Cicerone and a BJCP certified judge.
Kind of what does that mean for people who might not quite understand what all that means?
Oh, well, they're two different certifications, and each certification kind of has its own focal point. The BJCP's focal point is on styles and how a beer fits into a declared style.
How many styles do we have right now? I know this year it seems like they're expanding, right?
Yeah, and I honestly I can't give you an exact number on that, but we're looking at there are 22 style categories, but
right.
within those there are sub styles.
Belgians, you have, triples, doubles, quads, strong dark.
Within each of those categories, there are 3 and 6 subcategories. So there's a lot of different styles out there, and the guidelines are they're beginning to change. They're beginning to evolve, and every few years they evolve, and they have to.
Yeah.
Because the industry evolves.
Right.
And the styles evolve with them.
And imagine being a judge, like, it's getting harder and harder, though, because I didn't do, like, well, this is a German light medium, this is a German dark, this is a German extra dark. All of a sudden, you're adding all these extra categories and classifications, and the lines might not be so clear, from time to time.
No, I think BJCP does its best to specific guidelines for each style. And as a BJCP judge, those are what you go by. Now, that doesn't mean that every beer is going to fit into one of those styles nicely. Some beers don't, and that's perfectly fine. You have a lot of creativity within the community, and sometimes it just doesn't fit neat into the little boxes that are set up for that.
When you're judging something that might not fall strictly in the category, how do you guys treat it? Do you treat it, you're trying to make it fit in that box, or do you kind of take into account that it's in the heart of the style, but there's kind of these things that are kind of outside? Like, how is that handled?
That's tough because with the BJCP, they kind of have to fit into one of their categories.
Right.
And there are a couple specialty categories. There are a couple open categories. But things really are the program is really designed to have things fit into specific styles, and when they don't, I don't know if problematic is the right word, but it may be a great beer, but it
right.
And I, as a home brewer, I've never really entered in, despite being a BJCP judge, I've never really entered anything into a BJCP because nothing I brew really fits nicely into one of their categories. And that is the problem. Sometimes brewers don't kind of fit, they don't let it fit inside the box, and there's nothing. But from a scoring standpoint, you may not end up with a beer that's gonna, despite being fantastic, may not score well.
Let me check, make sure you're on. Okay, good. I know Will might have turned it off. I don't want any more audio problems with Anne-Marie.
I got it.
You got it? I'm sorry. I didn't check it. Awesome. So, as you're saying, you kind of have these new styles come in. Like, how does the training work? Is that up to you to kind of take that extended training, kind of learn about new styles, or you kind of get updated training? So it's like once you're certified, you're kind of good to go. Do you have to renew once a year, or kind of how does that work?
You don't have to renew once a year, but you have to maintain a judging status. So you have to incur a certain number of points every year in order to maintain your status. And your status changes as you get points. So certain levels you have to have a certain number of points. In fact, my certification actually just upgraded a certain number of judging points.
Okay.
And that is.
Does that allow you into like different events or something, or
no? But it gives you a little bit more. Like I went from recognized to certified.
Okay.
So whatever that means, it
Yeah.
it just means that I've judged more, that I have more points, I have more experience, whatever. It's not. I put less importance on those certifications and more on the actual knowledge that goes into it. It's certifications because it's nice to do an event or an account and say, okay, I have this these credentials. It makes things easier. Doesn't necessarily mean I know more about beer than someone else. There's some sort of paper trail that says that I've got.
How many judges? Is there like an average? Is there normally like 2 or 3 different judges per event, or is it like kind of just different?
You mean per round?
Right. Like when you're doing an event and you're entering your beer as a homebrewer to an event, is there an average number? Like a standard, like will you always have 3 judges judging it, or
you have to have at least 2 judges, and they don't all have to be BJCP certified. You have to have at least 1 BJCP certified judge. Typically, there's 2 to 3 during each flight, and it really depends on how many volunteers you have during. It depends on the style, because there are certain people that are just they're just more interested in certain styles.
Right.
So you may have more judges that are interested in judging stouts than you have interested in judging Bohemian and Pilsners.
Do you see that as a good thing or bad thing? Like that they're not kind of going outside their comfort zone? Or I would almost want stout guys to only do stouts, but I guess is not kind of opening up your palate a little bit.
There is. It's kind of a catch-22, because a really good judge can judge a style that they don't like. And it because they know what they're doing. They understand flavor. They understand the protocol. And if they don't like light lagers, doesn't mean they may actually be a really good judge.
They should be able to subjectively view the lagers. Yeah.
So a really good judge can judge anything. like it or not. I'm not a big fan of light lagers. I'm actually a pretty decent judge at light lagers because I know what they're supposed to be.
Right.
I'm a little bit more of I'm a little more objective for that style. Now, I really, really like imperial stouts. I may not be as objective.
Is it tougher for you to judge when something you love is kind of like?
I really, really like those flavors. I like the profile. I like the approach. I like everything about it. So it makes it sometimes judging the things you really like is sometimes more difficult than judging the things that you don't like.
Right, Mike. What you got? I'm running this interview.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I've been following you on Instagram, and you recently got funded for your meadery.
Yes.
I was wondering if you wanted to maybe, like, the process of running the Kickstarter, kind of the process of getting the funds and how that, where you are now with that.
Yeah, we're
Odd Elixir Meads.
Yeah, Odd Elixir Meads. We're going through license.
Fun stuff.
It is not fun stuff, but thanks for trying. We are currently talking with TTB right now. I'm hoping next week we'll have our federal permit all signed off on. Once we have that, then we have to go. That process is a little less time-consuming, not necessarily less problematic, but less time-consuming than the federal. So hopefully we'll have that. We'll have something.
I got him. He's good.
He's just
He's
going to
good.
go on. He's just going to wander off wherever he's going to go. So hopefully that licensing process will be done very soon, and we will actually be able to produce a product.
How long have you been in the licensing process?
We filed our paperwork on Christmas Day.
Okay. 25th.
December 25th. And
here we are, April 25th.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are coming up on our 120-day mark. But our application was accepted mid-January. And when I've talked to, they say, once you start talking to people from the TDB, it doesn't take very long. And we've finally started talking to people. So hopefully within the next couple of days, we need from them, they will have everything they need from us.
Right.
And we'll have our license. We'll have our permit from the federal government. Now, that doesn't mean that we can then produce, because we still have to get a permit from the state.
Right.
But that process is a little easier.
Right.
A little less time consuming. So I'm really hoping mid-May we'll have all of our licensing, and we'll then be able to actually produce product. And by the end of May, we'll be able to actually have a grand opening.
Awesome.
That's our. Although I will. I actually said that last month. I really hope we're going to be open next month. I said that last month, so bear with me here. We're trying, but if you follow us on Facebook,
give it all out.
Odd Elixir Meads on Facebook, Twitter. We're putting up all of our grand opening information on that.
Yeah, they were great. I had pretty much.
I'm trying really hard not to complain too much about things on those websites.
Right.
But
good move.
no, some people do care. Most people don't.
Yeah.
It's, if people ask about it, I'm more than happy to process. It is a frustrating process, but it is. I get it. I understand.
Right.
Red tape is there for a reason.
Yeah.
Those offices that process these applications are very overworked. They're very understaffed. So I get why things take so long.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be very.
We talked a little bit outside.
The process right now is really they're trying to be very very understanding, and everyone understands that there's no one's out there trying to maliciously make things not work.
I like to assume good intentions. Everybody has the right intention for the right reason.
No, these guys are trying. They're trying to applications as possible. They just have a lot of work on their on their desk.
We talked a little bit outside. It just seems like while the industry. The regulating body has not.
Correct. I really feel that's the case, and I don't think that the offices that process the people that process all of this paperwork, and there's a ton of paperwork that goes into anything alcohol. The offices that process this have not grown with the same rate that the industry itself has grown with.
Yeah.
So that's why you end up with some paperwork that takes about 4 days to process.
Right. It takes.
But it takes 4 months to actually get to that paperwork.
This guy's got to give it to this person who takes a week to review it. Then he gives it to somebody else, and it gets shipped to here.
Another
and
week
then
and 2 weeks here.
you're half-inch off.
Well, it's kind of like you just when you go in to get tags for your car, you get the little sticker, now serving number 45.
And I'm number 600.
Well, I'm now serving number 835. 120. That's kind of where we're at right now.
And they tell you got to pay for a new ticket, and you're at 600 again. Like, how is this possible?
And I feel for the people that are having to process all this work, because I can imagine that they deal with a lot of really upset people on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And and I try really hard to stifle my frustration.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I get it, I really do, but at the same time, I'm like, sign off on my stuff now.
I mean, you got a lot. You got a lot waiting. You have a lot waiting on getting the paperwork done. You got money involved. You got money to be earned.
Yeah,
and go through the process.
Time is money,
time is money.
That's part of the big issue with it. But these guys and gals, they're doing the best they can, man. They really are, and they're very efficient at what they do.
Yeah.
They just have a lot to do. So it's hard to get frustrated with them.
Yeah.
So you've been through the process now. The end goal is kind of in sight. What advice would you give somebody who's just kind of going through this process and maybe help them out a little bit?
Oh, be patient. Be patient. Have all your ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Have all your ducks in a row and be patient. I mean, you just have to. You have to. And try to understand where your processor is coming from, because your processor isn't just processing your file.
Right.
They're processing 60 other files at the same time.
Yeah.
So and to be honest with you, the nicer you are to them, the nicer they are to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you call them up and you start complaining and you just, it's really not going to help your case.
And this will be applicable to Auto Elixir. Catch more flies of honey.
Absolutely.
So I think we'll wrap up with there. Anne-Marie, thank you so much for your time. What do you got going on here in the future? What's going on? Events? I mean, you're always doing something. You got something going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some big events coming up. We've got the Ballpark Beer Festival coming up in Daytona at the Stadium. We're going to be hanging out at the Sour Fest, although we're not going to be serving some beers there. We will be there. We'll be handing out some business cards and some stickers and all kinds of stuff there. We do a lot of stuff with the Cajun Cafe over in Pinellas Park. Do any sour meads?
Yeah.
Not that I really want to play with sour meads. I haven't
Blair
yet.
says.
Yeah, Blair's over there going, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to play with sour meads in the future. But they have the sour. They have their sour festival coming up on May 16th. Cajun Cafe on the Bayou does some of the best.
I've heard some great things about
it. Oh, my
that.
gosh. They do some of the best.
And they're in my neck of the woods.
So you have to. They really, truly do some of the best festivals in the state of Florida. And we do a lot of the festivals with them, even though that side of the state, our distribution over there is we're looking at a lot of. It's going to be a long time before we distribute over there, but owns Cajun Cafe on the Bayou. He puts on an amazing event.
Yeah.
It is really about the beer. It is some of the best I've been to, and I go to a lot of events.
Oh, you do.
It is some of the those festivals that he puts on are some of the best events that you will ever go to. May 16th they have their sour festival, so it's all sours, farmhouses from all over the country, all over the world. So we'll be out there. We won't actually be serving because we don't do any sours yet. Give us time.
Sour meads?
That
might be really fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no reason why we can't do that. So, but we will be out there for a change and partaking in all this going on out there. But we'll have some stickers and some T-shirts to hand out out there.
Do you have any Auto Elixir stickers now?
Have any? But you will be the first to know when I have them.
Please. Got my brew garage, my whole wall now. I'm putting stickers up. So
you'll be the first.
Love to support you guys. Awesome. Anne-Marie, thank you so much for your time. I always appreciate it. Best of luck with the meeting. Awesome stuff. You're always busy, always awesome. Everything you touch is like gold. So I only expect the best.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Enjoy.
All right. Thank you.
So,
how do we
follow
that up?
Needs.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know how you can beat that. We got Mermaid Juice here at Mount Dora. We had
Auto Elixir meads at the DeLand Craft Beer Festival, and I'm not a mead guy, but
they were really good.
Great.
Tastes like juice.
Yeah.
Trouble in the glass.
The Arnold Palmer was.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Green tea and lemon. Yeah, Arnold who? That's what it was. Yes, Arnold. Okay. Peaches and white tea.
I like the this lemonade story one, the sweet story.
Long story short.
Yeah, that was really good.
All great. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So we got Mermaid Juice. We got Auto Elixir meads.
Hopefully, brewery coming soon.
Mosquito County. We got the brewery that Will's gonna open a year or so.
Yeah. Long Hair.
No, the wife says
Long
no.
Hair Brewing.
Yeah. Sure.
Dano wants
Dano's
back
good.
in.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, Dano, for sure. I mean, you don't even have to ask.
Yeah. Hey, we
got volume
Yeah,
on, right?
like you own
Make
the
sure you're
place.
on. I don't want any of those problems.
That's
You're
the
good.
third time.
Thank you, brother.
Hello.
Hello. This thing's on. We're
I'd
on.
like to
you're
thank
so
my
on.
spots. Mountain
My
Berry.
AA sponsors.
The dew is good. Hey, you said 92 on rate beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to correct you. It's a 94.
It was 97.
96.
I had to go look it up because that was Bob.
Oh.
Hey,
You
dude,
shortchanged him, you
said
son of a
you're in
bitch.
90 anything. Dude, I mean,
World class.
yeah.
That's still the Parabola?
Yeah.
You're sipping
I'm
a light, man.
sipping.
I just
Good
finished
for
mine,
this
too.
mile.
Well,
ago.
I've been here off and on
Yeah.
since early. I came in the morning to get.
Well, listen, sitting with Santa, you were out
Yes.
at about 7:30, so
Yeah.
we're doing a lot better this time around.
Yeah. Well, we don't have
There-
120 on draft.
Yeah, there's
wonder why.
one thing we forgot to mention, and is that we are bringing back retro game night.
Okay, cool.
So
Yep.
me and you talked about this. I think the
Yeah.
date is still kind of wiggling.
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe the first weekend in June, second
Sounds
weekend
good.
in June.
Sounds good.
So we'll have some retro games, some Nintendo, some Super Nintendo, some Nintendo 64,
Yeah.
maybe free
Yep.
beer.
Yep.
My bands have kind of not been on the horizon, so maybe we just do some piped in. You know, we got some cool video
Sure.
game music with sound
Sure.
system. So look for that announcement sometime. Soon in the next week or two. Maybe we'll
Yep.
get some details
Yep.
down.
Mermaid.
This
Yeah. Oh, dude, incredible. Mermaidjuice.com. I'll post that as soon as we iron that out. But yeah, the first year, I was super impressed.
Yeah.
People showed up. It was 5 stations you set up.
Yeah, we had 2 Nintendos, a Super Nintendo, a Nintendo 64, and I also had an arcade kind of emulator also set up as
Awesome.
well.
Yeah.
Logistically, we can.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to it. I got a couple TVs now, we
Sure.
can bring out. So definitely forgot to announce that last time you were out here.
Yeah.
So like I said, maybe the first weekend of June, second weekend of June. That'll work for you.
That works
Do you have any
great.
events going on, or
Yeah.
any trips or vacation?
No. I sleep a little. That's all good.
Yeah. Something else we didn't touch on while we got you here is where are we at with the brewery? Are we still kind of moving forward? I know we touched it a little
Okay.
bit, but
Yeah, so we have the barrel and a half system. Rather
Mhm.
than put it in here and spend $100,000 on build out, blah
Woo!
blah. Sitting in a warehouse in 20,000 square feet, a lot of room to grow.
Oh yeah.
We talked to a contractor. He's done some drawings, so we're just waiting on numbers. I think we're getting close, but
Yeah.
and it would be like this. It'd be off the beaten track.
you still
Yeah.
brewing? Are you still making
Yeah.
some? Yeah.
And I did a dry hop, about 6.5–7% IPA. I was with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
You got to have an IPA. I mean,
Nowadays
I don't
you
like
gotta
them,
do
but
that.
even if I had a brewery, I would have to make an IPA.
well, now what I'm doing is I'm not doing 12 to 14%. So back in the beginning,
Bigger the
like,
better, right?
Everyone was like, "Dude, you can't. This is ridiculous." Well, now everyone's doing those, so I'm going
Yeah.
back to the light. We're just tuning in the equipment.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool, you're doing it right there. You're not rushing. We talked about this in our that was blown out that nobody could hear.
Right.
But I think the problem now is that it's not well crafted. It's beer, and it's an IPA. You're in style, but
Yeah.
is it really adding anything that's giving like some sort of character or something that's unique? You know, and I think out there that are opening up now. It's great, good for
Yeah.
you, but they're just kind of at that 3. They're
Yeah.
on style,
Yeah.
but this isn't something I'd be like, wow, have you checked out brewery up the street that's doing this amazing
Yeah.
thing up here,
So if you think craft beer has, hit its bubble, is that there's so many style beers, but nothing's really shooting out of the, or at least not yet, And that's a whole debate for another time.
Sure.
Of is that bubble coming, or is it already kind of passed?
I think you can be technical and survive,
No.
Yeah.
but if you're not putting your heart and soul in the beers,
Yep.
I think those are the ones that we all go. Oh.
And the
Yeah.
people nowadays they're okay with being a guinea pig at 1st,
Mhm.
but if you're not like really improving the craft, like people aren't going to keep going to your brewery just because it's the next new brewery.
Right,
It's
right.
we love supporting the local.
Yeah.
Dano,
Absolutely.
local. I would rather come here as much as I love World of Beer, where someone may or may not work. I'd rather come to the local place and support the local guy.
Yeah.
But eventually, that kind of like local love. If you're giving me crap beer and you're making
The
me
new-
you're
it's like
making
the
me the
new
guinea
love.
pig.
Yeah.
Like I understand, right? Like okay, they might have missed a batch here. They're not quite as
Sure.
consistent yet, but eventually, out.
Yep.
Mediocre only lasts so long.
Yep.
You know.
Everyone's getting better. The crowd now, they're are more refined, so there's no fooling people around anymore.
Right.
Yep.
Awesome.
Or they'll all get bought up by Anheuser-Busch and
Yeah.
I'd sell to him for a couple $1 million.
Hey, there you go. You heard it. You heard it, man. Hey,
sold
man.
out.
Yeah.
Sweetwater sold out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we're a little hour plus, so I think we could probably wrap this thing up, Mike,
Sure.
unless you got some more you want to go
man.
into. Or
I'm good.
all right. So for those who are still watching us live, please come. Mermaid Juice tonight is our 3rd-year anniversary. We got entertainment. We got awesome beer. What do we got on tap tonight?
Hop Slam is the coveted one. We've got Blushing Wonders,
Kona Leach on Nitro.
Cigar City, Con Leche, Nib Smuggler by Funky Buddha.
Ooh.
We also
Mora
have
Mora?
the Mora IPA.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other stuff you can go on.
180 different bottles. You know, there's
Close to
definitely
that,
something
yeah.
here for you. So again, begging you, come on out, check it out. You won't be disappointed.
It's the #1 craft beer bar in Florida.
Yeah.
Right? That's all the reason
Yeah.
to come by. Get a beer. Come by, get a beer. Say
Dano's here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's all you need, right?
#1 craft beer in the bar
All right,
in Florida.
Dano,
So.
congratulations again. Thank you so much for everything. Good luck and continued success, man. We're going to go. I got a kiss this time, too, man.
Congratulations.
Mike going to get a kiss, too, man. On the lips. On the lips. All right, shirt off hugs, everybody. Let's do this. No.
Awesome.
Hopefully not. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. But no, seriously, Dano, congratulations on all your success. Again, in
you.
3 years, that's amazing. You know, there's here hitting the road, and you've already kind of hit it, you know, and I think the sky's the limit. You're going to get better from here.
Thank you.
All right.
Right.
Well, I think with that, we're going to wrap this podcast up. I'm Preston from the Beer Chasers.
I'm Mike from At the Bar Podcast.
We'll
for
see you later.
Bijou.